I want to finish talking about fatty acids in the skin. Actually, I got a lot to talk about when it comes to skin, and I was hoping to get to some more amino acids, more protein. Believe it or not, we're still talking about bone health and building, and essential fatty acids, of course, have a very important role to play when it comes to bone health and building. But I want to finish up talking about the skin here, and then I think maybe we'll take some questions. I'll read some of these questions that I've been getting, and I'll show you how you can answer this. The whole idea about health issues, folks, you don't want to be deluded by diagnosis. You don't want to be deluded by the obfuscation, the confusion that is perpetuated and encouraged by the modern medical model that wants us to be disempowered. So when you got these strange kinds of diagnoses and unusual disease states and nobody's figuring it out, none of the medical professionals that we trust to take care of ourselves understands or can figure out what's going on, you really want to cut it to the chase, get to the simplest, most basic ideas about how the body breaks down. And that's the way you want to take care of the healing process. Cut to the root, get to the root. You know, it's like diseases and diagnoses and symptoms are like leaves on a tree. There's 12,800 different diseases, right? There's 1,000 different skin diseases. How could there possibly be 1,000 different skin diseases? How could there be 1,000 different ways that your skin screws up? There isn't. And there isn't 12,800 different ways your body screws up. It's just very basic. And when you get down to the root and the trunk of the disease tree and away from the leaves, it becomes so much simpler to figure out how to take care of your body. And I'll show you what I mean when in our second segment. I'll read a couple of these letters and I'll show you how you get to the root and the trunk of the disease tree and address your disease symptomology at the core, at the fundamental level, so you can really create changes. I'll show you what I mean when we come back from a break. I just want to finish up a little bit here talking about fats and fatty acids as it relates to the skin and the health of the cell and inflammation. Inflammation is behind all disease. That's really, if you want to get to the trunk or the root, get to the inflammatory process. All disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is inflammation. And all inflammation is immunity. Inflammation is a defensive response. That sums it up right there, you guys. Disease is cell disease. Cell disease involves inflammation. Inflammation is a defensive response. If you have a defensive response and you want to eliminate it, well, the logical question is to figure out what is the offending agent, and then eliminate the offending agent. And then at the same time, make sure you're giving the body the wherewithal, the raw materials for it to do its work. EFAs get turned into raw material building blocks. They serve as building blocks, raw materials for the chemicals of inflammation and anti-inflammation. You can't have inflammation without essential fatty acids. You can't have anti-inflammation without essential fatty acids. In fact, it wouldn't be inaccurate to say that the chemicals of inflammation are actually various forms or derivatives of essential fatty acids, of the fats that we should be getting in our supplements like the Ultimate EFA, as well as from essential fatty acid-rich foods. This is so important. Think fats, think essential fats, essential fatty acids, think inflammation and anti-inflammation. Now, I should tell you at this point that while all disease states and all cell disease involves inflammation, you can't heal without inflammation. Inflammation is part of the healing process. It's excess inflammation. It's out of control inflammation that is the problem. Inflammatory types of chemicals that are involved in the healing process and that can also be problematic when there's too much of them come from omega-6s. Omega-6s get turned into inflammatory chemicals, and inflammatory chemicals are healing, but they're also disease-causing if there's too much. I hope that's not too confusing because it's really important to understand. Inflammation is healing if it's just enough. It's problematic if it's too much. That means omega-6s are healing if there's just enough, and omega-6s can be a problem if there's too much. Guess what we're getting in our modern American, standard American diet? Too much omega-6s, because we're all eating omega-6 oils and grains and omega-6 plant material. And we're not getting enough of the balancing essential fatty acids. The balancing essential fatty acids to omega-6s are called omega-3s. And omega-3s are calming. They have an anti-inflammatory effect. Nobody gets too many omega-3s, but theoretically, if you did, you'd have too much anti-inflammation. So omega-6s, inflammatory, that's a good thing unless there's too much. Omega-3s, balance it out. Anti-inflammatory, that's a good thing unless there's too much. They're both important. In nature, omega-6s are much easier to find. In nature, omega-6s are much more prevalent. Omega-3s are like a condiment or a spice that gets sprinkled on omega-6s like they're a big salad. Omega-6s can be considered a big salad. Omega-3s are like a spice that you sprinkle on the salad to kind of control or modify the flavor. In addition to being raw material building blocks, omega-6s and omega-3s are also structural components. They're chemical components. They form the building blocks of various chemistry in the body, and they also form a structural component, especially for cells and cell membranes. All right, hang tight. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back after this with more good health information. You're listening to The Bright Side. Don't go away. As you know, if you've been listening to this program for any length of time, you know that I believe that the digestive system is the core of good health and the core of the disease state and the disease process. One of the things that happens as our digestive system breaks down is we don't absorb foods, we don't absorb nutrients, we don't absorb vitamins, we don't absorb minerals, and we most especially don't absorb fats. This is so important, you guys. If you've had a gallbladder taken out, it's even worse. If you've had a history of gallstones, you probably have a fat absorption problem. If you have a liver problem, and 1/3 of Americans have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and many more Americans have alcoholic fatty liver disease, that will compromise your ability to absorb fats. You know you have a fat absorption problem. If your skin is breaking out, if you got eczema, it's probably a fat malabsorption component. If you have a psoriasis, same thing, probably a fat malabsorption component. If you're breaking down, aging, wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, menstrual cramps, PMS, menopausal issue, these are all indicators that you may not be absorbing your fats. If you have accelerated skin aging, wrinkles, and dry skin, again, the chances are pretty good you're not absorbing fats, especially your essential fatty acids. This is why one of the first things you'll notice when you get on the Longevity Ultimate EFAs is dry skin will disappear. Wrinkles will start to improve. Your skin will look better. If you have eczema or psoriasis, that will improve as well. And it doesn't really take very long. Pregnant women especially want to make sure that they're supplementing with essential fatty acids, especially omega-3 essential fatty acids. As we were saying before our break, omega-6s and omega-3s, they go into making chemicals, inflammatory chemicals and anti-inflammatory chemicals, but they also play a structural role, especially in the sense of forming the structure of the cell membrane, that coating, that lining of the cell. The cell membrane is responsible for allowing oxygen to come through cells. The cell membrane is responsible for electrical energy, electricity coming into cells, and the cell membrane is important for detoxification of cells. The cell membrane is important for all hormones because hormones sit in the cell membrane. If the cell membrane is out of shape, hormones, insulin, thyroid hormone, peptide hormones, even steroid hormones are not going to work as effectively. It's so important. Omega-6s and omega-3s, not just because of the chemistry, but because of their structural nature. Omega-6s go into pretty much all the cells except for your nerve cells and your brain cells and your eye cells, which tend to be more omega-3 predominant. That's what makes omega-3s from fish oil and from flaxseed oil and from various seeds and grains. That's what makes them so important for the nervous system, for the brain, for nerve diseases, and also for pregnant women. Pregnant women want to be eating lots of omega-3 fats while they're developing their baby in the womb. The dietary omega-3s that moms eat are going to get converted into special omega-3s that build a smarter baby. Special omega-3s called DHA and EPA. You probably heard of those. DHA and EPA help build a smarter baby. They'll get you a baby with better vision, better hand-eye coordination. So make sure moms-to-be, if you're pregnant and you're growing a baby in your womb, make sure you're getting your omega-3s from flaxseed oil or from various seeds, or you may want to get DHA and EPA, which is already pre-converted for you. If you're just doing flaxseed oil or various seeds to get your omega-3s, your body has to convert them into the DHA and EPA that go into your nerve cells and into your eyes and into your brain or into the baby's nerve cells and eyes and brain. But you can get your DHA and EPA pre-converted by using fish oil. That's what makes fish oil so important. That's the rationale behind doctors telling moms to make sure that they're getting fish oil when they're pregnant. Doctors used to suggest that pregnant women eat fish, and unfortunately, that's not such a great idea these days, although fish should be a powerful nutritional and building food. But these days with toxicity in the ocean, that's perhaps not such a great idea. But in any case, the DHA and the EPA, which are types of omega-3 fats, can help build a smarter baby and a baby with better athletic skills and a baby with better hand-eye coordination. So fish have this pre-converted DHA and EPA, which comes from omega-3s. Omega-3s are found in seeds, as I say. They're also found in grass. The technical name for omega-3 is alpha linoleic acid, or ALA, but we just call them omega-3s. ALA gets converted or broken down into DHA and EPA, and not everybody can do that as effectively, so sometimes it's a good idea just to make sure that you're getting your DHA and EPA straight. You'll get some DHA and EPA in the Ultimate Essential Fatty Acid Plus. In fact, that's where the term plus comes from. There's two longevity products that have essential fatty acids, two main longevity products. There's the Ultimate EFAs. And if you look on the supplement facts on your Ultimate EFAs, you'll see 200 milligrams of ALA in the supplement facts. And then if you look, and that's the Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids. In the Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids Plus, you're going to get a little bit less. You'll get a little bit less of the ALA, but you're going to get EPA and DHA. So the plus will get you that extra DHA and EPA. The regular Ultimate EFAs, you're not going to get that DHA and EPA, but you'll get a little bit more of the ALA. So you got three main types. You got ALA, that's the main type, that's the parent type. And then you got the DHA and EPA. They're all important. Go with the plus. That way you get the DHA and EPA. That's just my opinion. If you get the regular Ultimate EFAs, you're not going to get those derivative essential fatty acids, but you'll get a little bit more of the parent. I guess it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Personally, I like the plus. And this is especially true, by the way. The plus is important. It's especially true that the plus is more important if you have nerve diseases, if you have Parkinson's disease, if you're pregnant, or if you want to really focus on eye health or brain health in some way. Then there's a really neat form of omega-3s. I like flax seeds. That's a good form of omega-3s, of the parent omega-3s. And seeds in general are going to be a good source of omega-3s, parent omega-3s. But there's a really neat one, a neat seed that you're starting to hear a little bit about. We talked about it a few days ago, called Chia seeds. Chia is a type of mint plant. Technically it's a member of the sage family. And chia seeds have been prized for centuries by indigenous cultures, by rural Mexicans and American Indians, because of their fat content. Chia actually means fat. The word chia means oily, actually. It comes from the Indian language. Chia seeds, in addition to being very oily and fatty and loaded with these omega-3 fats, are also packed with fiber, especially soluble fiber. Two kinds of fiber. You got your insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. Soluble fiber can be really, really helpful for the immune system. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Hang tight. We're coming back with more good health information and your phone calls on the bright side right after this. And we are back on the bright side. Tomorrow I think I'll get to a bunch of these letters tomorrow, and I really apologize if I haven't gotten back to you and you've written to me, Facebooked me. I get these long Facebook letters, and as much as I want to respond via email or via Facebook, it's no way I could respond to letters, all the letters that I get, and I really apologize, but I try to get to as many as I can. Please put your phone number on letters that you send me, or even on your Facebooks, and let me get back to you by telephone. It's much easier for me to talk than it is to type, as I've said many times. And again, I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you, but you're welcome to put in your letter first, second request or third request if that's the case. Okay, 855-660-4261. 855-660-4261 is our call-in number. We got some lines open for you. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear us talk about on the program, or now the Beyond Organic products, Jordan Rubin's line of organic dairy products and allergen-free dairy products, allergen-free probiotic-rich cheese. How do you like that? Cheese with probiotics in it, cheese without the allergenic problematic proteins. Jordan, as we had him on our program, I think last week, talked about how he breeds his own cattle that produce milk that does not contain the problematic proteins that people react to when they drink milk or when they eat cheese. You can find out all about those products, the Beyond Organic products, on my website, brightsideben.com. Okay, before we went to break, I was telling you about the Ultimate EFAs versus the EFA Plus from Longevity. They're both good products. I think I misspoke a little bit. Let me just clear that up. They're both good products. They're both wonderful sources of balanced essential fatty acids. The Ultimate EFAs will get you about 400, not about, on the supplement facts, it says 455 milligrams of omega-3 and 190 milligrams of omega-6. The pluses have a little bit less omega-3s and a little bit less omega-6s, but the plus will get you some of the EPA and DHA, which are specifically important for nerve health and brain health and eye health. EPA and DHA go into making nerve cells and brain cells and eye cells. So you'll get extra EPA and DHA. If you're pregnant, you may want to think about that, because the plus will get you 171 milligrams of EPA, 114 milligrams of DHA. The EFA without the plus, that's only going to get you a tiny smattering, a little blip of DHA, 10 milligrams. Not very much, but you do get more omega-3s. So you got to kind of make a decision. In my humble opinion, the plus is probably a little bit better. Now, if you want to confuse things a little bit more, I don't really want to, but I'm going to. There's another essential fatty acid that comes from omega-6, and this one is really, really neat. It's called GLA. GLA is very, very helpful for PMS issues, for menstrual health issues, and for skin issues. You can actually put GLA right on your skin. It comes from omega-6s, and likewise, you can put omega-6s right on your skin. Acne skin, for example, tends to be deficient in omega-6s. Many skin diseases are associated with deficiencies in omega-6s. Skin oils that keep your skin nice and moist, technically called sebum, S-E-B-U-M, is supposed to have lots of omega-6 in it. But if you don't have enough omega-6s, either from your diet or if you're not absorbing your omega-6s, your sebum can become thick and sticky and sludgy, and it can cause problems with breakouts or clogged pores or pimples. If you don't have enough omega-6s in your diet, or you're not absorbing your omega-6s, fat malabsorption issues, you're more prone to sensitive skin, you're more prone to sun sensitivity, you're going to be more prone to psoriasis and eczema and sunburn. So you can use omega-6s right on your skin. You can break open the capsule and put it right on your skin. It'll also help with dry skin and act as a moisturizer, a real moisturizer, because it can help you make your own skin lipids, your own skin fats. And the GLA applied topically to your skin can also have a benefit. All of this is to say, you guys, essential fatty acids are super, super, super important. They stimulate growth. They're important for skin health. They're important for brain health. They can help with PMS issues. They can help with inflammatory issues. They can help with osteoporosis. They can help with degenerative disease. They can prevent wrinkles. Listen to all the stuff that you're getting from essential fatty acids. And many people don't absorb their EFAs or don't get them from foods, which is why you want to consider an EFA supplement like the Ultimate EFA or the EFA Plus. Always take your EFAs with meals. Always take your EFAs with your Ultimate enzymes. It's probably a good idea to take your EFAs with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And I recommend 3 capsules 3 times a day minimum. That's 9 capsules a day, but you could easily double that. You could easily take 18 capsules, 6 capsules 3 times a day. You'll know you have enough essential fatty acids when you don't crave fatty foods. When you don't crave ice cream, when you don't crave cheese, when you don't crave potato chips, you'll know you have enough essential fatty acids. If you have dry skin, you'll know you have enough EFAs when your skin health improves. And if you have menstrual cramps or problems with your menstrual cycle, you'll know you have enough EFAs when your menstrual cycles improve and your PMS goes away. Okay, tomorrow, let's see what I'm going to talk about here tomorrow. I'll talk a little bit about SPF tomorrow, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the fibers that you get from seeds and some some skin benefits and anti-inflammatory and immune health benefits associated with some of the fibers, and then we'll move on to protein, and then we'll also, we'll start off the program tomorrow by taking a couple of letters and also Facebook letters. So that'll be tomorrow on the bright side. Time to hit our phones. 855-660-4261 is our number, and we do have a couple lines open for you. Love to hear from you. If you have a success story you want to contribute to the conversation, if you have questions about the essential fatty acids or any of the longevity products, love to help you out. 855-660-4261 is our number. Carl, the Truth Raider, welcome back. What's going on? Long time no talk to.
Good morning, Pharmacist. Ben, good to talk to you once again. Very, very sad news in the world of entertainment. There's a legendary broadcaster who was the voiceover artist, and he invented the Top 40 Countdown. He taught us how to count
Casey
40
Kasem.
backwards.
Casey Kasem? Did he die?
Kamel Abdul Qasem.
Is that his name?
Known as Casey Kasem.
Wait a minute. His name was Mal Abdul Qasem?
No, Kamel Abdul Qassem.
Oh, really? He was Lebanese, wasn't he?
Yes, he's Lebanese.
Okay,
And
I used to listen to him every Sunday. American Top 40.
Yes, exactly. He's one of my favorite staple broadcasters. He just had that fatherly or brotherly or like uncle's voice or something like that broadcasted.
It was a great voice.
He was just terrific.
He did cartoons too. He was in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, absolutely did Scooby-Doo, and he did the voice of, I believe, Robin in the Batman series, cartoon series.
Okay, I think that's right.
Right.
That's bringing back memories from my childhood in the 1960s.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
he had Alzheimer's. He had Alzheimer's dementia, didn't he?
There was something going on. They said he was suffering from Parkinson's syndrome.
That's too bad. Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, brain diseases, those are so tragic because not only are they preventable, but they're also reversible, if not entirely in a huge, huge way. I get a lot of questions and a lot of phone calls about Parkinson's disease, and it's really tragic to me because it's avoidable, number one, but it's also reversible, number two. And whether it's completely reversible or not, given enough time, I believe it's completely reversible. Most people, by the time they have Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, it's not completely reversible because they just run out of time. But certainly you can make a huge, huge difference with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's by using nutrition and by using dietary supplementation, by using oxygenation and breathing, etc. So that's kind of tragic. Yeah, they took him off all his nutrition, I heard, a couple days ago. Is that what happened?
Yeah, they decided to do that, and I think that's the tragedy in itself right there.
They took him off his nutrition.
That it's incurable, is totally bogus and it's part of the medical model.
Wasn't it interesting what happened when they took him off his nutrients? What happened? He died.
Yeah, that was an advanced directive.
Yeah, he died when they took him off his nutrition. Hang tight, Truth Raider. We'll come back to you after our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll be back after this. And we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page, brightsideben.com. Got 3+ years of archives starting in November 2010. Lots of wonderful information on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You can also purchase any of the longevity products you hear us advertise on the program on brightsideben.com. Or you can join the Brightside Ben team by clicking on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com. You can also call the phone team at 866-735-2470, and they can tell you all about the Brightside Ben team or the longevity products if you want to purchase any products, including the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, my personal favorite longevity product. All right, 855-660-4261. What's up, Truth Raider? What do you got for us today?
This is my question. All these diagnoses have like a terminal, from the medical model, this is like a terminal conclusion to a certain condition. Now, Parkinson's syndrome, what is that really, and how do we prevent that?
Parkinson's is arthritis of the brain, diabetes of the brain, degenerative disease of the brain, nothing more. And this is so important. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. Carl, all diseases involve degeneration. All degenerative diseases, I should say, involve degeneration. The body is just breaking down. Under ordinary circumstances, the body heals itself. We see this every time you cut yourself. Little cells migrate up to the cut and they seal everything up. If you got a really deep cut, white blood cells and the immune system takes care of cleaning things out, and fibers start to become secreted and they close the wound, etc. The healing process kicks in on its own. You don't have to think about it. If you have a degenerative disease, by definition, it means you're not regenerating, you're not healing. A degenerative disease is a disease that doesn't heal. Parkinson's disease is just a classic example of a degenerative disease. Arthritis, autoimmune problems, these are all degenerative diseases. It's the location that's different. But it doesn't matter the location. Carl, I'm going to use my tree. I'll use my tree analogy. If you got a tree and the leaves are all rotting and they're falling off and they're filled with fungus, do you treat the tree differently if the fungus and the mold and the rot is in the upper left-hand corner of the leaves or of the bush, whatever you call the bush on the tree, or if it's the lower right-hand corner, or if it's the central part of the bush? Does it matter if it's the central part of the bush or the upper left-hand quadrant or the lower left-hand quadrant? Of course not. Do you do a special treatment for the tree or for the bush if the leaves are affected on the bottom or if they're on the top or in the middle? That's a question for you, Carl.
No, absolutely
not.
You treat it from the root cause. cause.
Of course. It doesn't matter where the disease shows up. This is obfuscation, which means confusion. It is perpetuated by a model that wants us disempowered. The medical model, I'm not blaming doctors here, because some of them are just as bamboozled as we are. Some of them are just as brain-addled and confused and misled as we are. It's not the doctor's fault. It's the model's fault. The model perpetuates disease. The model perpetuates disempowerment. The model perpetuates this deification of itself, where we just go to the doctor because we're sick and the doctor will help us and we'll get this drug or that drug. It's like the emperor's new clothes. Nobody notices that the doctor's naked, that the medical model's not wearing any clothes. Nobody notices that we got more drugs than ever before. More drugs than ever before. We're taking more drugs than ever before. We're spending more money on drugs than ever before. We're spending more money on doctors and diagnoses and insurance companies than ever before. But we're not getting better. We're not even staying the same. We're getting sicker. The more doctoring we do, the more drugs we take, the more surgeries we undergo, the more insurance benefits we get, the sicker we are. I mean, I know I say this every day on the bright side, and Dr. Glidden says it, and Dr. Wallach says it, and a lot of other wonderful healthcare professionals say it, but we still are bamboozled by this idea that the medical model can help us. You guys, the medical model is impotent at the level of degenerative disease. When was the last time anybody ever had their arthritis or Parkinson's or diabetes or kidney disease or autoimmune disease reverse or improve by drugs or by doctoring? When was the last time? Never. Because it can't happen. On the other hand, that's the bad news. On the other hand, the good news is we don't need to be medicalized. We don't need to be doctorized. We don't need to be prescriptionized. We don't need to have our organs removed from our body. In fact, there's never a time when you want your organs removed from your body, save for cancer. If you have a degenerative disease like Parkinson's, what you want to do is you want to figure out what the heck is getting into the body that's causing this breakdown, that's preventing the regenerative process from kicking in. I'll spend a lot of time on this tomorrow, but just for now, please understand, number one, if you have a degenerative disease, it can be reversed because it's in the body's nature to reverse. If you have a degenerative disease, number two, a drug or a doctor cannot help you, period. I'm not saying most of the time, I'm saying all of the time, because it's not a doctor issue, unless the doctor, of course, is using non-doctor strategies. Number three, if you have a degenerative disease, first and foremost, focus on what is getting into the body, what is getting into the closed system called the human body, what is entering into this system that is causing this distress. Behind all degenerative disease, you will find a body in distress. Yesterday, I did a call for my friend Sanjeev, a conference call. A bunch of you guys were probably on it. We talked about weight loss, and we talked about body fat. We talked about people who can't lose weight. Well, this is the same thing. If you have a body that's fat, you got a body that's in distress. If you have a body that can't lose weight, you have a body in distress. If you have Parkinson's disease, you have a body in distress. If you have arthritis or cancer or autoimmunity, you have a body in distress. How do you address these issues? You figure out what's causing the distress. Most always, it's going to be something entering into the body through the digestive system, which is why the first thing always is to focus on digestive health. Number one, eliminate problem foods. Do a food diary. If you want to pick one single move to make, and probably more than one, but there's not a lot, but probably more than one. But if you want to pick one, focus on what foods are causing digestive distress. And don't get this idea, well, I'm gluten-free. It doesn't matter. If you have Parkinson's disease and you're gluten-free, there's something else. Obviously, there's something else going on. Don't say, oh, I eat healthy. It doesn't matter, because spinach can cause a problem, tomatoes can cause a problem, lettuce can cause a problem. So what we think is healthy may not be. You gotta go by your symptoms. If you have a digestive issue, a malabsorption issue, something percolating in the digestive tract, you're going to know it by your digestive symptoms. Unfortunately, the brain has a way of kind of shutting things down or shutting down perception if something occurs all the time. So if we've had a digestive reaction or a digestive problem, ever since we were a little kid, we're not necessarily going to notice it when we're 30 or 40 or 50 because our brain doesn't pick things up if they happen all the time. The brain is always going to look for surprises. It kind of tunes things out when they occur all the time. We get used to things. We acclimate to things. So the brain kind of has a way of tricking us into not noticing constipation, not noticing gas or bloating, not noticing nausea or queasiness or loose stools or diarrhea if they occur all the time, which is why it's so important to write things down. Do a food diary. Keep a list of everything you eat and then write down how you feel or how your digestive system reacts an hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours later. That's called a food diary, and it's the most important step in recovery or regeneration. The second thing you want to do is eat less food. Every time we eat anything, it puts a major burden on the body, even good food. So just by eating less food, we can help the body heal itself. Use probiotics and fermented foods. Next to a food diary, next to eating less food, a good probiotic supplement, a good eating lots of fermented food, making sure you're getting a good quantity of these bacteria is the most important thing you can do. Use the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Use the new Beyond Organic products from Jordan Rubin. Get on the Soirvie. Get on the Amasai. These are fermented dairy products. Even the cheese has probiotics in it. Use fermented beets and sauerkraut and miso and tempeh. Anything you could do that's got anything you can eat that's a fermented food is going to be in your interest. Get a book called The Joy of Fermentation, or get another book called Wild Fermentation. Both of those have wonderful recipes for making your own fermented foods. Make sure you're using bone soup. Bone soup not only is liquid protein, ready to work, ready to go into action without requiring a lot of digestive processing, but not only that, it's got coating and soothing materials that can coat and soothe and accelerate the healing of the digestive system. Use the glucogel caps. Use gelatin. Eat cartilage. Make sure you're using the noni juice. Make sure you're using aloe juice. All of these can have a wonderful soothing and healing effect for the digestive system. So much more, but that's a wonderful start, and it's drug-free. You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and you can reverse any degenerative disease. Thanks so much, Carl. Sorry I went on, but call back tomorrow and we'll finish up. All right, that's all the time we have for today. On the bright side, tomorrow we'll take some of your letters and maybe finish up this idea on chia seeds and essential fats and soluble protein. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.